Alright, so today we're making strawberry buttermilk scones. Alright, so we are making strawberry buttermilk scones. If you make these in the morning with a cup of coffee, there is no way you're gonna have a bad day. Pretty simple recipe. Check it out. I'm gonna give you the ingredients, so on the next clip, go ahead and take a screenshot, and then we can get to work. Alright. Okay, so in one bowl, I've got our flour, baking powder, and salt, all of our dry stuff. And then in another bowl, we've got sugar, 1 egg, and then I've got buttermilk and olive oil weighed out together. We're gonna use these 2 eggs for the egg wash. So we'll start whisking the egg into the sugar. And with the olive oil, I like to use a bit more of a mild olive oil for this one. It's got that nice buttery vibe that works really well with the scones. We've got buttermilk, olive oil. Again, if you don't have buttermilk, that's not a crime. You can use almond milk, you can use milk, you can use half and half. You can use, did I say almond milk already? Oat milk? All right, so the wet ingredients have been mixed together. We've got your milk, egg, olive oil, and we've got the dry here. We're going to make a well in the center of the dry ingredients to start mixing in the wet. I like to use a rubber spatula to get every last drippy drop. We can start mixing. Okay, so this scone dough has come together quite nicely. I didn't overmix it or anything. You don't want to overmix, just blend it just until it's blended. It'll be a little bit wet, a little bit sticky. That's okay. So if you have wax paper, this is really going to help. 1 big sheet of wax paper. It'll also be nice if you have a rolling pin. Mine's a little bit janky, totally okay. I'll often use like a wine bottle or something as well. Then we're gonna take this scone dough and turn it out into the middle of this wax paper. Boom. This can go to the sink. We're gonna take 1 more sheet of wax paper, throw it over the top. Now, first, just kind of use your hands to get it into a bit of a rectangle, and then you can roll it out with the rolling pin. Alright, so this scone dough has been rolled out nice and thin. I reckon, yeah, about this thin. This is where we're going to take off this top layer of parchment and insert some fruit. I'm using strawberries. We found some strawberries at the farmer's market today. I chopped them up, put them in the freezer. You could use raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, currants, dried fruit, raisins, kind of whatever you want. This is your chance to chuck some things in here. We could even drizzle this with olive oil and add some rosemary and some goat cheese and some sea salt and some pepper. It's kind of an open book, but today we've got some strawberries. We're just gonna sprinkle them on top of this scone dough. Using about 1 cup of chopped and frozen fruit. Again, we're gonna keep this on one side, essentially, because the next step is folding this dough over so that when you cut and you bake your scones, you have nice little strawberry pockets in there. So we're just gonna cut some shapes into these scones and then carefully put them onto a parchment lined sheet tray. Make sure while you're doing this your oven is on. You want your oven at about 500 degrees. I know it's really hot, but you have to trust me. So I've got all these scones cut and set onto the sheet tray. This is kind of where you can reshape and reform them. Again, the dough is a bit soft, so it could use a little bit of extra love. And then before we put them in the oven, what we're going to do is egg wash them and then pop them in the freezer a bit to cool. So 1 egg for the egg wash. Oops. And you just beat it up. And give these guys a light brushing over the top. After these are brushed, they're going to go into the freezer for 10 minutes or into the refrigerator if you don't have room for about 15 minutes before they go into the super hot oven. The oven is at 500 degrees. I know it's ripping hot. What we're going to do is pop it in. The racks at about the middle of the oven. And once those go in, we're gonna kick the oven down to 420 degrees Fahrenheit. Those are gonna bake for 16 to 18 minutes. Set a timer. So the scones have been in the oven for about 15 to 18 minutes. Let's check them out. Now, the top isn't gonna get a ton of color, so resist the urge to continue baking them. What we wanna look at is the bottom, and those are perfect and gorgeous. Let's take a look and see how the inside looks. It's too hot.